We basically ended up on a solar install in the Lake District, Keswick. Now, there is a bit of a backstory to that job, and that job came to me probably 2 years ago now through Solar Skirt, where I went on behalf of Solar Skirt to fit Solar Skirt to, not sponsored, to the install. Now, the install was carried out by a national firm. So the firm was actually from Manchester. And then literally 364 days later, a year before my 12-month warranty expires, or a day before that warranty expires, should I say, I got a phone call to say the Solar Skirt is banging in the wind. I didn't believe it was the Solar Skirt. I fitted plenty of Solar Skirts in the past. It has never banged in the wind. So, Pink Panther is what happens in some investigation. And we basically found out that the install was on fast and salt A solar plates, is what they're called, A plates, aren't they? What happened is I then went back to that site and I got up on a ladder. I removed some Solar Skirt and got some photos of underneath there. And we kind of found out that the solar array wasn't actually attached to the roof, or what it was attached with was substandard.
Not very much. Yeah, it was held on by slate.
It was held on by, I think, Coke Streams and Blue Tack.
Yeah.
So I turned around and went, no, nothing to do with me. Go away. And I think that customer then pushed it back at MCS, who I don't believe were very much help. Rec, who, because this company was still trading, again, wasn't very much help. And then actually paid us to come out and strip that roof off completely, take it off. It had been the fourth time, I think it was.
I feel like, yeah.
I think it was the fourth time total that scaffolds had gone up to that roof. And I'm pleased to say the last. We stripped it off, didn't we?
We did.
In -2.
There was snow on the peaks.
Yeah, like I say, it was the first
Skiddaw?
week. Yeah, it was Skiddaw behind us, and Keswick is Derwentwater in the Lake District. And stripped it off, and we put it on hook, flashing, and rail. And there's actually a YouTube video that goes with it, which is over on my YouTube channel, which I'll probably stick on. You can't see, but we'll spin the laptop in a minute.
Yeah.
And we'll go sit in front of the TV. We'll watch it together. And
just anyone who's listening out there, can you hear us all right? Because it's like talking into a camera.
Look at that. What you can't see is actually there's tripods and cameras and laptops.
Oh, it looks really professional.
It looks really professional.
None of the tech actually works.
None of it works.
Of course, when you do these things. So yeah, this is a very impromptu live. We've lost
Still in there.
in the video. Okay. It's got computer speakers on, I was telling.
And then that was the video, wasn't it?
Welcome to the start of another project. And this is a project where, again, we're trying to save a point install. So we are in Keswick with our van, and then Patrick from Renewable, also known as Michael, but
Policy.
more fondly known as Matthew, is also here. And then just behind us over here, you have EP1. However,
Hey, look, there's me twice. That's a terrible thing, isn't it?
And then read up and train this, as it is a very, very long install. However, I'll tell you more about it once I'm up there on the roof. Well, now I look on the
There you go. Look, there is the original install, and the solar skirt on the slate roof.
As we were in Keswick, and Keswick is the home of slate, and we also have 6 PV panels, and they are finished in solar skirt. Now, I originally came here, and this is going to turn into story time.
Hey,
I
tell the
originally
story
came
again.
here 2 years ago, on behalf of Solar Skirt, to install the skirts on behalf of a national installer. This is
I don't think you need the story again, do you?
use the correct installer, and I think just to pop out, we started horror show that lies beneath.
This is it.
Time lapse.
There's you, Mike.
That's me. It's
In
me.
your hat.
It was very cold.
We're going to interrupt the time lapse because we've already started to unfold the issues. And if we look under here, you will see when I line the camera up, you will see a Fesensol mounting plate and a screw, and it's quite give that a share.
Point on these, and we've both come across this, haven't we, in recent weeks?
Yeah, we see it quite often now, for
Yes.
some reason.
Just looking at that, that's upside down. That long side actually goes above the rail. Number one.
Read the instructions.
Yeah. What's it say on, I think, of like page 4 or 5 of the regs? Follow manufacturer's guidance.
Okay,
That's
that's
an
actually
absolute horror.
So you can now see the screw. The screw has now exited the roof.
the screws come out there compared like there's going to be a lot of horrors to uncover in this roof, and that's why I want to show you guys, and I want to put it right for the customer, because it's sad that people pay potentially their life savings into putting PV and investing onto the house, and this is they get. Crazy.
Obviously, and it doesn't just go for what I'm going to say, does it? If you have got questions, tell there.
Drop them in.
For either myself or Mike. Even Mike's now got camera shy, and he's got me twice.
Trying to hold the phone and
Yeah, if only you'd brought a tripod.
yeah, if only I brought a tripod.
Then yeah, any questions regarding the install, any questions for what I do daily or what Mike does daily? Obviously, Mike's subcontracts for myself, Mark and Sam, who are both over at the Renewables podcast. But yeah, any questions you've got for both of us, then
That's why you put it on YouTube, but there you go. Well, we now have some of the panels on, and the horrors are already starting to show. I'll spin you around. There's Magic's already over there pulling on it. I think Magic might have found the cause of that bang. What does it do, Mike?
That is just bringing back some memories of this
yeah,
horror show.
my fingers are already cold and numb just sat in the warm office. That we don't believe was actually the mounting plates, do we?
No.
What we believe that actually was where the rail is, because them panels are clamped on the short, they were on the short side, weren't they? And it's basically, if my keyboard is the panel, I've exited full screen, I've got to go do it over there. But if it was basically had a rail halfway down the panel side, which then meant this top edge flexed. So although we don't believe it was basically where it was clamped. It wasn't that banging wasn't the actual fixing.
Mountains, yeah.
I'll tell you what, Jay, then, and I'll have showed you photos of this. The original installer sent me when I quoted the solar skirts, but it's stuff like this. There's a screw missing out of here. As you can see, it's in the top, but not the bottom. And they've been back to put these missing screws in. That one's missing. So then, if we look at this place here, and I get, Jay comes and does it for us, gets hold of the rail, Jay, and pulls up on the rail.
I don't think that's fastened into a raft, do you, Dan?
I think you're right, Jay.
I mean, as an installer, if you went back, or if you left that on someone's roof,
What would you be thinking? Would you actually sleep at night?
you wouldn't, would you? It's your house is the most expensive thing anybody will ever own between being born and departing the world. So why would you treat somebody's house with the disrespect to put, well, not even fix it really to the roof, to just put fixings in that go into thin air that
And literally, they were just through the slate and
Through
then
the slate,
into
yeah.
the felt of the roof.
Yeah.
There's no fixing whatsoever on those.
We see a lot of people installing these now online, and it might be the bigger manufacturers. And there is people that are putting out reels and stuff. I've seen a good one. What was it? Goodwin or Goodwire that posted one yesterday.
I don't think it was Goodwin, was it? Oh yeah, it was Goodwin.
Yeah,
Yeah. You put it in the bin.
He said basically the best place for it is in the bin.
Yeah.
Now
Awesome,
that is upside down. Must be 180 degrees around. But that screw, as well as being into a rafter, is also meant to go first through a tile batten.
Yes.
So you're not aiming just for a rafter when you're putting A plates on, or limpets as people. Basically, this is Fast and Salt's version of a limpet. You're aiming for 2 points. You're aiming for where the batten intersects the rafter at both the bottom hole as well as the top hole that's further up behind Jay's hand on there. So,
yeah, and I don't believe many installers, unfortunately, know that or are doing it.
So none of these also had the spacer collar in.
No.
So
Not one.
no, well, some of them didn't have screws in, mate.
yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Some of them did.
What was the one to pay payments for the roof work? And that's come.
Lash it together.
Ultimately, that is the issue, isn't it? It is. It is people that are installing on cost and on price work. Whereas I think what we do and Mike does when he subbies for us and other companies is kind of we price it so that there is time
in the job,
time to do it, and you aren't taking slates back off a roof.
This is it ultimately.
You can also see, look, smash slate next to that one.
What is going through installers' heads?
Yeah, so to reiterate your thought there.
Yeah, basically, I'm now just going to have another winch.
Under the shadows, and next to water. Then I was not going to swear on this channel, but that. For anyone that watches this, that is an installer.
I mean, I've said it before. This has to be my favourite YouTube video of the whole year. It really does. It's one I've gone back to time and time again.
Yeah,
shared it in the Facebook groups where people question their
installed on slate plates. Yeah. I mean, I enjoy making them as much. We're not a big YouTube channel. We aren't the Andrews of Cambridge. There
was a question actually about putting cables into eco drains.
I mean, don't you just flow water into eco drains?
I would have thought so. I don't.
Yeah, I reckon that might leak that eco drain now and wash out the.
Maybe.
I think it might wash out some sand underneath some paving flags.
Yeah, but if you do want to see that on an install, check out Andrew from Cambridge.
Yeah, Andrew from Cambridge.
YouTube video. It's brilliant.
Little known YouTuber. He's up and coming, should we say?
Anything called like that. Hang your head in shade.
You see, we're going to skip a bit further forwards.
This was classic.
Yeah, here we go.
And that is not
Curtis.
They were back. Here we go.
Stuff like this. If anyone was ever wondering,
this was their cable entry.
how you fit a GU flashing. And that is not how you bring your DC down. Just through a smash hole in the slate. So, there's also levels as well.
So not only were the roof fixing shocking, cable penetration into the roof was absolutely shocking.
not through a lap in the felt, not watertight. It will leak at some point.
I think we pulled on that cable and like a load of MC4s came out.
I think there was a pack of MC4s in behind it. A pack of dolly mixture.
Yeah.
Rail. And we can mount it all back.
So we're unfortunately seeing this more and more. Yeah.
I think we will. I think the solar coaster is currently here. I think it'll now do that, possibly in the next 5 years. And I think the people that are still around at the bottom of the solar coaster will be mopping up the bodged installs that we're currently seeing at the top of the solar coaster. That's my opinion on that one. Keep flashing forwards a bit to see if we can.
So this is us putting the roof back in.
These ones are some of my slate hooks. So
I think I did more than you.
I think you did.
You need to take out this tile, which you can either use a roof tooth for, or you can use a classic.
Are you a fan of a roof tooth?
It has its uses. It's sometimes the trouble is, if you've got a galvanised nail, which you shouldn't really have a galvanised nail, but very often you do,
Yep.
then the roof tube is hard work.
I can agree with that one.
Yeah.
Speed flashes, I don't like them.
I've got a mixed opinion actually. I've done a few jobs now where they've worked really well. Yeah, did one last week actually in Barton Castle. And when you know exactly where the rafters are, and if you've got a large format slate, or this was a composite slate,
Yeah.
it actually worked really well.
Does it?
Yeah,
So my opinion on them is they're brilliant, like Mike says, if you know where your rafter is. However, this roof is had new fascias and soffits on it, so you can't see the end of your rafter. So your first row, you've still got strip tiles out or slates out.
yeah.
You might as well for the first row drop speed flashes, standard roof
Yeah.
flashes in.
And actually, I'd emphasise on this roof,
Yeah,
the speed flashes wouldn't work because it's a variegated slate.
Yeah.
So as you go up the roof, the slates get smaller.
Yeah, so the no two slates on this roof are actually the same size. So they're different laps, they're different widths. It's a completely natural hand cut roof that essentially, as I think what to call it.
Yeah.
Speed flashes wouldn't work.
Work on that.
Which I think is ultimately why the original installers had probably gone for
A-plates.
A-plates.
On that one there, for example, so where the old plastic old places where we have got stuff like this, where they're drilled in. So them slates are.
But actually, if we look here, these are actually composite slates. So some of the slates on that roof was so badly damaged that we couldn't put them back in. So I made the decision, ultimately being the decision maker of it, that we weren't going to put slates back in because we'd have had to cut them all to size, and it would have been too expensive, too laborious of a job. The most cost-effective way ultimately was to put composite slates in. Still completely watertight. Got no issues with it being watertight. It was just a cost exercise that the easiest thing for us to get hold of in a large quantity to replace all the damaged slates was composite slates. So these two were that badly damaged by the A-plates that we had to put something in to put them in and keep the roof watertight.
Now, unfortunately, what we've used, we've used some composite slates.
There you go.
I go back in time.
This roof is made up of various different size slates, although the lap is all the same. We can cut these down easy. And get rid of
So we'll fast forward, see where we are. There we go.
I've made some good progress.
So we've got the rails back in.
All of the rail is now on, and as you'll know, we have gone for vertical rails.
So originally, when we took it off, they were in horizontal, and all of our landscape panels were clamped on the short side. Manufacturers say you can do it. However, and I have done it, and I've got videos on this YouTube channel of us doing it, and I'm sure Mike's also done it in the past. However, the optimal side to clamp your panel on is your long side, because what you're doing is you are supporting the most flexible edge in 4 places, taking out some of the flex in the panel. And they can chatter, can't they, if they flex?
That's right, yeah. Yeah, there's quite a substantial amount of flex actually on that edge. So by clamping that on the other edge, it's reduced that massively.
So yeah, not only do we put proper hooks in with proper fixings, with proper flashings, we placed the damaged slates that were too far gone with, in this case, composites, although we could have, if we wanted to, we could have got proper slates to do it. It was just cost prohibited. We also turned into vertical rails, so we clamped on alongside, and we went for our favourite mounting system as well, which is actually my favourite mounting system, and the mounting system of everyone, isn't it? That's any good.
Yeah, roundabout. Well, I call it roundabout classic now because it's been replaced by Devalco.
These stuff, yeah. So this was the old strapline gear. There we go. So panels going back on, and as you can see, poking out the bottoms is our vertical rails, so they are clamped on the long side. And then where I believe it's me, it's up on the roof, isn't it, in the high vis?
I think it is, yeah.
Yeah, just behind the reflection of the light, there is 4 panels there, so they've got some bits in them.
You can now see that roof has been completed. On this down from
There we go.
Mike is still here.
I am.
He's still here.
Got a sore arm now, other than the phone.
some extra single clamps on, so instead of going double clamp, single clamp, double clamp, as we normally would.
Yeah, so one of the things that we did do on this is we put extra clamps on the solar skirt.
Single, double clamp on the job.
Yeah, so, as you said there, we did, single in the middle of the solar skirt, whereas normally you do one single in the middle of the piece of solar skirt. We actually put 2.
Yeah, so because of where it was and the customer had all the issues with banging on the roof. So underneath this roof is actually a vaulted ceiling, and it was the customer's living room. So he used to sit there in a storm at the Lake District. He used to get 80, 90 mile an hour winds on the regular. Not actually sure how the original install stayed on the roof. I credit Solar Skirt with a lot of that. What it actually did is we put extra clamps on the solar skirt, basically to try and stop that solar skirt flexing in the wind and chattering, which worked. Ultimately.
Yeah, we'll come to that.
Yeah, we'll come to that. We'll keep going on here. So, a little bit of a fast forward. Oh,
There's the instructions of...
Go on, Mike, have a look at these.
So you can see on there, those plates, you see how they're the opposite way to what was on our video? And then you can actually see that it actually shows you the batten lines where those should be fixed. And the holes. And yeah, none of those were.
Basically, in a batten and in a roof truss as well.
Yeah, none of those were in. Well,
no, some of them were ultimately over here into
not even in a truss, yeah.
Into thin air, which was no good for anybody. So yeah, I think I don't think I've actually ever seen an A slate installed the correct way around, which is a shame.
Interesting. I actually saw a Instagram video of one installed the right way up, but when I went back through their videos, they were actually upside down in the earlier videos.
Yeah, I think I commented on them and told them, and that video got taken down where they were upside down, which was quite fun.
Goes to the short side.
Anyway, so I think this is us now stripping the second roof.
Yeah. So this screw was put in diagonally. So I wonder, when you first saw this and there was some screws missing and they went back to put screws in, they've just literally put it in on a diagonal to try and find the raft.
Try and find it, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the back. This is the second roof actually of the job, isn't it?
From our top bracket here to the top of the panel, you've actually just measured it from there to there to these.
Oh yeah, they put the rail too low, haven't they?
Yeah. Which again, so if you take data sheets from manufacturers, they will actually give you a stipulated measurement from the top of the panel, and it's normally a percentage. So they don't say 300 mil. It might be within the first 20-25% of the panel edge is how they normally word it correctly.
Yeah.
It might be, I believe I'm right on that. And that is where your rails ultimately should be, and they are the strongest parts of the panels. Ultimately, it's in the first quarter.
Yeah. So it's important to check the instructions on the panels you're using.
Full manufacturer's guidance.
What that gives us is from here to here is a water flex.
Look at that.
That's about 30 mil.
Yeah.
This panel, which we do as well, so do many other installers. But I think looking at this, we are now going to start putting a gap in them. You can hear them knocking together.
Yeah, so that's now something I've started doing as well.
Yeah.
Adding a 10 mil gap.
10 mil gap,
between the
even
top.
a 5 mil gap.
Yeah. Just stops any of that squeaking,
I
banging.
think that's where a lot of our roofs and banging noise is coming from. So
I want to keep having a fast forward and find the juicy bits.
I've actually learned myself quite a lot from doing that.
That one roof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
maybe a little bit better than the roof that James carried solar skirting, but
I think
think I make a Bonnie Blue reference here.
I talk a bit on here about distance between spaces being no more than 1.2. Now, I'm sat in between two spaces currently, and they're 1.6. So where at?
So what that is where the two plates, now we'll call them hooks. So from this hook to this hook should be no greater really than 1.2 meters, 1200 mil, which normally lands perfectly if we have a modern new build roof of 600 centres. What the roof is, of the roof trusses, is every other truss.
Yep.
Or if they are a bit of an older building, then with 400 mil centres is truss, miss, truss. So 4 goes into 12 3 times, doesn't it?
So,
or yeah, it does. Yeah, this one was 6. Well, 1600 doesn't go into it. So that tells me already that either this plate or this plate is into thin air.
Yeah, I think we did discover that one was into
nothing.
Yeah.
And then what I'm talking about is, you probably can't see, but you'll be able to go and watch this video because it's over on YouTube, is there's a rail splice about here. So this piece of rail the rail splice over here. This piece of rail that I'm sat on is actually only supported by a splice and one fixing to the roof.
And you can imagine that flexing over the years.
Yeah.
That splice would snap.
Yeah. So every length of rail ultimately should have 2 pieces, be supported by 2 hooks or 2 plates to the roof.
Yeah.
So this piece should be plate there, splice, then another plate, and then this plate, which would give us, firstly, the piece I'm sat on supported in 2 places. And it would also mean that there's no greater gap than 1200 between our fixings to the roof, which on this one there isn't.
I'm sat. There's 2 issues with it. Right, I don't know if it will show it, but if I bounce on the rail,
State of that.
if I bounce on the rail, you can see, or even see where my feet are, the flex. Well, I'm not heavy. I'm only about 13 stone. Plus, that shouldn't do that.
That's just from the shock of this.
So if Mike looks at this file here, you'll notice that the actual joint in the rail,
Look at that.
joint is to the right hand side of the plate.
So this is exactly what I've been speaking about. The bit where my feet are ultimately only supported to the roof by where I'm now pointing on the video.
A piece of rail ultimately should have 2 slices in it, or 2 spots to the roof. So once another support in, then they're 1.6 apart.
What's occurring?
Wow.
Oh! I even do it. I'm not going to insult somebody.
Basically, a very, very shy.
Yeah, so what we're doing is, me and Mike completed this job in January this year. It was the 2nd week back working after Christmas, and we both learnt a lot from it, a lot of don'ts. And I think what we're both now trying to do is highlight why one company might want to charge a little bit more and say not use A plates or limpets, and might want to rip slate out, put proper hooks in. I mean, we both post this video onto various Facebook pages when we see what to pay. Well, I've had this installed on. What do we think to the mounting system? If it's this, it's shite. Basically, yeah.
And I personally think this install was weeks away from it blowing off.
Oh, so it's right on the end of doing water, as I've said on that. And it did have solar skirt on it. Now, I fully maintain to this day, and I will maintain until I am in the ground with worms coming out my eyes, that the only reason this install remains on that roof, before we stripped it off, should I say, is because it had solar skirt on it and it deflected a lot of the wind from getting underneath the panels.
Yeah.
I think if it had mesh on it or no bird protection at all, then them panels, which are 22 kilos each,
would have been lifted.
Would have been into the road, onto someone's head.
Absolutely. There's no doubt in my mind.
No. So when we look at 10 panels on a roof, we are looking at nearly 2.5 tons of panel. No, we're not. We're looking at 1/4 of a ton of panel.
Yeah.
So we're not talking light. By the time you then couple that with your mounting, you're knocking on for 1/3 of a ton just in 10 panels. Now, if they're not fixed to the roof properly, like they are in this video, then in a storm, if that comes off, not only have you ruined a roof finish, worse, those installers have to live with this.
Yeah.
You kill someone.
Yeah, it's just shocking, really. And like that roof at that side fronts straight onto the neighbours.
Yeah, it was onto a main road.
Yeah.
So it could come off in the wind, carried off into the main road, and then caused a car accident. And would it have killed someone in a car accident? Possibly.
Could quite easily,
Yeah.
I mean, the knock-on effect of it it's unthinkable, really, what could go wrong.
I think it's installers having a conscience, and yes, it might be driven very much by cost. Installers being paid a day rate to install stuff, but I think even if you are on the lower end of the market installing on cost, then you've still got to go to bed every night and hold a conscience.
Yeah.
You know, I've cut profit out of jobs before because I've made an error in pricing them, or made an error or a misassumption when I've completed a survey.
You mean you forgot the optimizers?
Forgotten panels before.
We all do it, though.
But
we're not.
instead of cutting that corner to try and bring that profit back into the business, I'd much sooner rather lose that money out of my own pocket or DMH's pocket, or pay Mike a little bit less, and
That's fine.
it's fine, yeah. And make sure the install's right, because if
ultimately,
if a quarter of a ton or 25 kg a panel came off and killed someone, not even in the wind, even if it just the clamps were loose and it slid off the roof.
Well, this is another one I've seen that time.
Yeah.
Again. Yeah.
With GSEs, if it just slid off the roof, for instance, because the clamps to the rails weren't tight, and hit you in the back of the head while you're having a G&T on the patio, again,
They're thinking about it.
You're dead.
Yeah.
So conscience from installers, not just profit, I suppose. Anyway.
And again, when we talk about spaces, our fixings here, that's 500 from the end of the panel. And what that allows is this panel
more flex.
Now, what we actually did a lot of those in the wind come from is these landscape panels being mounted on horizontal rail and clamped on the short edge.
So this is what I was saying, wasn't it, about clamping on the long edge, not the short edge.
Look at that flex.
Take the microphone off and hold it over here.
Imagine that going on your roof.
Can't sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't sleep.
We'll go vertical rails and clamp on the long side, and it will get rid of this. And I think that, plus having the fixings correct space and slashed in so we know
That hat doesn't fit me very well, does it?
You need a new hat.
Pointy top like a piece of toast.
Yeah.
Well, the more we strip off this roof, and as you'll see,
There's a real hat.
Was that like a little intro into it?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
And I do feel like this is a constant bit of whinging. However, I think it's constant bit of whinging that needs to happen, because there is installs possibly happening like this up and down the country on a daily basis.
Thousands. Yeah, possibly thousands.
By lowest possible install cost from installers to subcontractors. I'm not going to deny that, but also from consumers looking to have what should be an investment into the most expensive thing you own, your house, trying to get it as cheap as you can. And what they're getting is they're getting installs like this.
And this is something that bugs me, that it's all about drive it down, drive the cost down. Yeah. Can I get it cheap?
What's my return on investment?
Yeah. Well, the return on investment of a new roof, or
a
life-changing injury, or
correct. So yes, you might save £1,000 using a different contractor that is going to use A plates or cut corners into an install. However, when it then costs you, I think in this case was nearly £6,000 to strip it back off and put it back on, because the scaffold involved. I'm not sending Mike up on the roof or Jay up onto a roof without scaffolding for all the rest there. Ultimately, that's coming out of your pocket, and it is increasing your return on investment. So saving £1,000 now or £2,000 now, going with the cheapest quote, long term, could cost you tens of thousands, if not a life. I know laying a life on it is maybe you could say is a bit heavy,
But it's got
positive.
potential. Yeah.
It is possible.
Yeah.
If that panel had come off, it could have killed someone.
Yeah.
Top and bottom of it.
And
Look at this. Well,
Here we go. Look.
there is a screw here, and there is a screw here. However,
it's just
that shouldn't do that.
that ain't right.
Sorry, past Dan. I'll give you that idea.
I don't know. It's like the thread on the screw.
Unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah.
The toaster in the kitchen. You were not even buying a Pepper phone.
I'm going on now about investments.
Investment advice from Dan. Yeah.
Yes.
I actually quite enjoy doing slates. What goes on? Plus,
I think that basically what happens is a lot of it is starting to go back together. We've got videos on this on my YouTube channel. Mike has videos over on his social medias, and do you have a YouTube channel?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, and probably on
There's a
his
few
YouTube
clips
channel
of it
as
on
well.
there, actually. Yeah.
You don't need to see how we do plates. What you do need to see, however, is that the sun did come out in January,
Yeah, look at that.
and we started to get some panels back on the roof. One thing that I've been interrupted. One thing I am going to say is, as much as I enjoyed that job, we both learned a lot from it.
We did.
Thank you for Mike on helping us with that job, and Jason, thank you for being there, even though you're under contract. You kind of got to be. I didn't ring the customer all weekend after fitting that job.
No, and this is what I was going to say.
Yes.
We were both sat there. There was a storm.
There was a 90-mile-an-hour, so we finished it on the Thursday.
Can't remember the name of the storm, but
No, but there was a named storm came through. I want to say it began with D. There was a named storm came through that weekend after putting all these panels back on, and I didn't want to ring the customer. I watched my phone all weekend.
I don't think I even wanted to message you.
No.
Oh.
All weekend waiting for the customer to say, "Oh, Dan, they're still rattling in the wind."
Yeah.
I didn't get a single phone call all weekend through 90-mile-an-hour winds. What I did do is I finally picked up the courage on the Monday and I rang him. And what actually happened is you can now hear the windows rattling in the house. So
She hadn't been able to hear for years.
yeah, you know exactly. The panels no longer make noise. They're fixed to the roof properly. They're not going anywhere. And as we all sort of knew in the first place, the solar skirt. Why do I look so pasty there? Look, you can tell that was winter and it's now summer because I've got a tan.
Got some, yeah.
Even the solar skirt doesn't rattle. So budget install, turned right. I think his Mike's Instagram actually says eating pad installs for breakfast. That one was breakfast.
Yeah.
First one of
well
2025.
yeah.
And it now is silent on the roof.
I think it's really nice to just feel for that customer that they've had it put right. Because even, to be honest, the neighbours next door were really hostile towards us for a start, weren't they? They were like, and we couldn't understand why.
Well, because they'd had scaffold erected on their drive 5 times. So the scaffold you can currently see here,
Yeah, it was on the neighbour's drive.
it was on the neighbour's drive. It was blocking access to their house. And it was the 5th time of doing that. And you can understand
Their frustration.
and why they might have hostilities towards solar PV. That customer next door might have wanted PV. And because our customers had such a hassle with it,
They weren't even.
they now won't entertain it. And that wasn't a bad way to spend 25 there, was it? It was quite a nice spot.
Nice, yeah.
2025. So go watch
Yeah.
some other videos.
That's it. I'll send a link out for that. No, if you haven't seen it, watch it properly. And yeah, thanks Dan for showing us through that one. And having me on that job, because it was, like I say, we learnt a lot from that.
Yep.
And hopefully we can share that knowledge out and just improve the standards in the industry.
I suppose it's not about just blowing our own trumpets all the time. Although we are first and second best installers in the country, I'll let you decide who's gold and silver.
Yeah, I'll go with the very, very best in the northwest.
I'm the very best.
Northeast, sorry.
I'm the very best installer of this side of my own front door. But yeah, it's also highlighting when stuff goes wrong.
Yeah.
And it's not just about slagging off other installers, because I haven't told you who installed it. I know who installed it. They're still trading. And I won't be putting out who installed it because that's not what it's about. It's just about highlighting the issues that are around bad installs and what to look out for.
Yeah. I think there's a point there. They're still trading, but not under the original company.
No,
they started up again.
Yeah. Boom and bust.
Yeah.
That's it. We're going to go get some tea now.
Yeah. Thank you all for watching.
See you soon.